we've obviously got some questions now from the viewers. So the first question, I'll come to you first, Harry. This is from Ollie Wu. I think his name is Ollie Wu. Yeah, Ollie Wu. Do Arsenal need a squad overhaul? Realistically, could lose Tierney, Neto, Zinchenko, Partey, Jorginho, Trossard, Kivior, Sterling, and Jesus.
It's a bit far, I think, to say that we need a complete overhaul because I think we've got the foundations there. But I do, and I was thinking about this morning, when you're talking about what we need to do in the summer, a lot of the focus is on a winger and a striker. But actually, there's the potential to have to regenerate in other areas as well, because you could lose Partey or Jorginho or both, which means midfield recruitment.
Yeah.
You definitely need another goalkeeper, in my opinion, because Neto's not that guy. He's not going to be there probably next season. So I don't think it's a complete overhaul that we need, but I do think it's probably a little bit more work than people are thinking at the minute. I think there are other positions need addressing.
Right, so there's a theory out there that has this team peaked. Right? I don't think it has peaked, but it will peak if we don't do what we need to do. Because the people that are the base of this project at the moment, 2 or 3 of them are coming up to 2 years in their contract to go. You know the 2 or 3 I'm talking about, right? So you need to show them that we're going to go.
Yeah.
So we need to go. It's as simple as that. We need to go. By holding off in January, the light is shining on our recruitment board, shall we say. And I'm sorry, they have to deliver. We can't even go on a summer tour with a centre forward because our centre forward's injured, may not be fit enough. So we're buying a forward, right? Simple as that. And we need 2, maybe even 3. And we have to think like this. We have to not be afraid of renewing the squad because we do need to do it. We have my worry when people say, "Oh, the manager needs to go. Manager's under pressure." If he comes out with the same strategy and the same patterns of play, the thing that will cause him a problem is boredom. The same things that we do. We have to freshen this up. It's very important. I know everything we're going to do, and if I know, other people know. We all know how we build up in wide areas. We all know what we do. We need to change it, and the way you change it is by bringing in new people with new attributes that show you a different offensive face. I think it's very important that we take this moment to renew. This is hopefully be our 3rd year in the Champions League, so funds are coming in. We can start to spend like Liverpool and City and Chelsea and United have done historically. We've now got a serious pool of money developing. We need to use it effectively.
Great crossing there. That was Ollie Wu. Really good question there. The next one's from Olivia Smart. I'll come to you first, Clive. Is it time to try Ethan at 9? He knows where the goal is.
He knows where the goal is. He does. For those who listen to me, I like my forwards to be a bit taller, but I'd like to see him nearer the goal. That's the key. You can't have that kid with that amount of power in either foot and beyond the touchline fighting with fullbacks that don't care. They kick him and they get a booking and they go off and someone else will come on and give him a kick in until he goes off because he's a young lad and he's a 70-minute player at the moment. So can we use what he has, his freshness and sharpness, closer to the goal? I was on a pre-season tour and I saw him come into the team. I never would have imagined that the manager would be taking him off in a Nottingham Forest away game because he cannot lose him for a Champions League last 16 game. That's how the game changes on you so quickly. It's so he's so important to us, for now and going forward.
I can't see him as a 9. I just can't see it. I'm a bit like Clive. I like my 9s to be a bit more physical. I like them to be someone that you can play off of. You
still
can
growing, Harry.
Yeah, he is. He is.
There's a lot of pressure to put on him as well.
Yeah, it is. I don't see that as the natural fit for him, and that would be my concern. And what I don't want to happen is us to turn to him in that position, then the opinion on him starts to change a little bit. His confidence takes a bit of a dip because it's not really working. I think we've got a responsibility because he's still 17 years old to protect him, and I don't think throwing him in at 9 would be doing that.
Okay. Right, this next one, I don't know who wants to answer this first, so I'm just going to put it out there, and one of you two can answer it. And this is from Dom Bailey. Right, you ready for this one? Is Martin Odegaard the right man to have the armband?
Go on, Clive. You'll articulate much better than me.
Well, I think he is. I think he is. It doesn't mean that he's playing well. I think that he is. It depends what sort of leader you want, right? So do you want your Tony Adams style leader? Do you want your Declan Rice style leader, with someone that is hard to miss on the pitch, leads by example? Martin Odegaard is somebody that really demonstrates the manager's standards for him. You can see that, right? You've listened to him as well. And he, even during these bad periods of form, he's not hiding really, is he? He's really trying. I'm looking at him thinking, okay, I need more for you. And when I rewatch, I think, actually, you're not that bad. He's just not working out for you. But he's trying. And so this is a really important period for him to show people he's not going to fade away, because your leader cannot disappear.
He can't hide.
Can't hide, mate. You got to keep going. You got to set. You can't choose when to set standards.
Yeah.
You got to, sometimes setting standards in adversity is the time when you get judged. So, for me, he's still the captain right now.
Yeah, I think questions being asked of Martin Odegaard are ridiculous. I think you can talk about his current form, and you can see that there's been a drop off in how effective he is. But as we've already discussed, I think there are loads of factors contributing to that. And so I don't want to sit here and say that he shouldn't be the captain. I think Clive's right. He embodies everything that you want in terms of being an ambassador for the club as well. But he's also a lot more vocal on the pitch than people give him credit for. He's always organising the press. He's always looking behind him. He's always calling people on with him. I think he's a really good leader, really good captain. It's not happening for him at the minute, but we've got to stick with him for me.
Yeah, great question there, Dom. I mean, it was a little bit of a... I don't think the guys like that one too much, but... yes,
no, I didn't like it at all.
I definitely think he's the right man. And as you said, I think that's the biggest thing. I think the captains have almost changed. The role of a captain nowadays has changed. And I do think for Martin Odegaard, he's not playing well. But as you said there, I think the sign of a real leader is someone's like, okay, I'm not playing well, but still give me the ball. Yeah. I'm still going to try and score. I'm still going to try and create. So, yeah, I for me, certainly think he's the right man for the job. Up next for us then is PSV. How are we feeling about this one? What are we thinking? Because it's a tough period for us. And when you look at the games that are coming up as well, there's a trip to Old Trafford in there as well with the two Champions League games in there. What are we thinking about the PSV game?
We've been focusing way too much on the potential trip to Madrid, if you ask me. That seems to be the talk among the fans, and I don't like that for a second, because look, I saw PSV's second leg, a lot of it against Juventus, and I thought that they were slightly lucky to go through. So I do think they're a side that we have the beating of. I do think we're a better side than them. But given our current issues and given the fact that they are going to probably come at us, which maybe to a degree suits us, I just think because confidence might be a little bit fragile, do you really want a side coming onto you? And I think PSV would do that, especially in the home game. So I'm a little bit nervous.
Yeah, if they score, they're going to feel really confident, aren't they? Because if their analysts are watching our last few games, they're thinking, just get a goal and see what happens, right? So, yeah, I watched those Juve games as well, Harry, and they got a couple of players. Obviously, they've got Noah Lang, who's a decent player. He's going to go big, in my opinion. They've got Perisic playing, haven't they? And they rotate him with Bakayoko on that right-hand side. So our left-back situation needs to be sorted out. Maybe it's horses for courses, depending on who's going to play. And they got De Jong up front at centre forward, and I watched him play against us before, and he does quite well against us. I don't know why, a bit like Chris Wood, but he's a good player. Right? He's a good player. But we should have enough, particularly in midfield areas, to at least give us time. I'm hopeful we get Martinelli back for the second leg. That's what I'm hoping for. So we get a bit more offensive power. If we can just bungle our way through, I don't care how ugly it is. You can call us Stoke City if you want to, right? I don't really care. Just so we can get through this. Because for me, quarterfinals of the Champions League is par. I would have hoped for a little bit more if we were all fit. So we've got to get to the quarterfinals. I don't want to envisage that home game at PSV at home if it's not going well. I don't want that, mate.
Well, they're almost in a similar position to Arsenal, because they're obviously competing for their league as well. I think they're 5 points behind Ajax, so they're ingrained in a title battle as well. But is there anything different you want to see from Arsenal in that first leg, or was it just about coming back to the Emirates with a scoreline intact where they're not chasing the game, where they can... Because basically what I'm getting to, I know Newcastle was the other way around, but it almost felt like that second leg was a bit of a... Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you've got to pay them respect. I think it's the Champions League round of 16. Everybody in there is there for a reason. There's no mugs in the competition anymore, if ever at all. And so I think you've got to pay them respect. For me, go to PSV and lean on your defensive strength. Now, I'm not saying you go there without the intention to score, but you go there leaning on what you know you can do with this current group, what you know your strengths lie, and you try and make sure that you give yourself essentially a 0-0 when you go back to the Emirates. That's how I look at it. I'm not saying you go there, George Graham style, sit behind the ball, don't even attempt to attack. But I think that's got to be the priority. Take it back to the Emirates, because we're not powerful enough as an attacking force right now to go out there, let the handbrake down and just go for them. I don't think we can come flying out like that.
There's a lot of tension in these games. I went to Porto last year, and it's a reminder of how tense these away games are. It's a different game, Europe. Right? Remind yourself of the contact that's allowed. And mistakes are highlighted hugely. Remember, look at Bayern at home. Remember, one little mistake in the halfway line, gone.
Yeah.
It's over. And so for me, it's about being calm, being competitive, and really getting your margins right to make sure that we don't give them anything, and then see what we can do. Right. So that's where I am with it. But the second leg is what I'm looking forward to. He says, air quotes. I'm looking forward to that. We made a decision in the summer to do what we did. That's fine. We made a decision in January to do what we did. Not so good, but this is where we are, right? So this is our strategy. This is our decision. For me, everything I'm thinking about now is, what is the price of that decision going to be? Where are we going to end up in the league? Has it created a divide? Because recently, the last 3 years or so, there's a huge trust, a huge alignment on and off the pitch, a huge different connection. I mean, Harry, both of you in the stadiums, you know what I'm talking about. That connection to the team has been really, really strong. Now we have the club have gone this way and everyone else seems to want to go that way. So now we have a divide. How much is that going to cost us, the strategy, the risk that we took that's backfired? I even understand why they took it. They probably thought the big games are gone, we got a much easier schedule, we're going to be all right. But we weren't all right. So we've taken that risk. So now, how are we going to get people back together? And that starts in the summer. But between now and then, what's going to be the cost? The cost to their relationship with the club and the fans, etc. The cost with other players. What's going to be the cost? And I hope it's not too big. That's where I am.